Hey listeners, before we get started on this episode, I just wanted to make a quick announcement. We're planning on starting a Patreon account in the next few weeks. We'll still be releasing our usual amount of content for free as always. This is just a way to allow us to do more cool stuff and offer more content. We have a lot of ideas already, but we're interested to know what sort of content you all would be interested in. So get in touch with us on the usual channels, Twitter, Facebook, email, and let us know what you'd like to see on Patreon, what we can offer that would be interesting to you. All right, here's the show.
Welcome to Smash Fiction, the podcast where we pit two or more characters against each other in a battle of strength or wits or typing surprisingly quickly and see who wins. This week, a hackathon royale between Elliot Alderson from Mr. Robot, Skye Daisy Johnson from Agents of S.h.i.e.L.D., Radical Edward from Cowboy Bebop, and Nomi Marks from Sensates. Squiddly. That's the sound of a monolith. A black monolith has been seen all over the world in the past few years. It's appeared and stayed for days at a time and then disappeared again without a trace. It's getting a lot of noise complaints and a few nice Yelp reviews, but mostly it remains a mystery beyond human comprehension. It's changed nothing that we can tell, but it did find one man that it connected with, felt close to. No, not a man, a quasi-android. It took him, and now he has returned, washed up on a beach crusted with salt, CPU sparking. His mind recalls nothing of the events after being monolithed away, but his 1980s era implants recorded it all. That man was Inspector Gadget.
Yeah!
For obvious reasons, an international government coalition has worked to remove this data from the good inspector and is storing it within the most secure network possible. The data itself is partly corrupted from the salt water. There are holes in it and weird Mobius strips of code that don't seem to go anywhere, or go somewhere untraceable. Improbabilities aside, there is a further problem. Gadget's own programming surrounds the data, and it's eager to be helpful, trying to aid the hackers in their quest to uncover it. Unfortunately, every time it tries to help, it only makes things worse by inadvertently blocking out every attempt to crack it and access the sweet data nuggets inside. Alien information systems? Check. Data housed within programming circa 1983? Check. A graphical user interface system so terrible at helping that it acts as antivirus software? Check. Nigh uncrackable government server containing all of this? Check. The deep web is abuzz with news of this find and wild speculation of what's contained inside. Several websites have hopefully opined that it's aliens sending nudes. But there's only one way to find out. Hack it! Elliot Alderson needs to get there first and get it out of the hands of the government before they crack it and turn it to their own corrupt purposes. Nomi Marks doesn't believe the government should own the information and wants to distribute it to the masses. Daisy is hacking to put it in S.h.i.e.L.D's hands, an organization with a vested interest in alien tech. Radical Ed is in it for the thrill and to make her fellow crew members proud. But the hackers can't just rely on their ability to typity-type their way in. They also have to keep the other hackers out as they tunnel in towards monolith secrets or alien selfies. Who will hack supreme in this most keyboardiest of battles? I don't know. And as the person who still regularly gets into verbal altercations with my printer, I, Megan Bob, will be your impartial judge this week. Guys, this is going to be spectacular.
Yep. Oh, very good.
I've been saying that to myself all week. Representing Elliot Alderson is Liz Logan.
It's called hacking, people!
Representing Radical Edward is Kit Mulcairn.
Inspector from days of old, lead me to your access code!
That's so cute. Representing Nomi Marks is Miles Schneiderman.
Hi, I'm Miles, and where am I? Is this Los Angeles? Why are there Spider-Man posters everywhere? Who the fuck let that lizard out of his cage? Why do I feel simultaneously drawn to small furry things and Godzilla? Wait, now when did I suddenly start riding a motorcycle? Am I going crazy? Oh wait, no, I'm just on an episode of Smash Fiction. I was worried for a second there. Now, time to start shipping all these characters.
Well, Dan, you can never have sex again, because that's weird.
Yep.
That happens all the time in Sense8.
Yup.
Representing Daisy Johnson is Dan Mulcairn.
I'm in.
Boo! Yay! That joke never gets old!
Well, I'll just remove that from the end of my fucking opener.
No, keep it! Keep it! I want it! I want all of you to have one. I do. This is important to me.
No, I'm not copying Dan. Dan's copying me.
Can I just say one thing?
Fallout.
Can I just say one thing before we continue?
Good point, Miles. Well
Thank
said.
Did you just write boobs over and over again?
No, it's more like like that.
Baton.
In order to determine who went first this week, I asked the advocates to go old school and make me a mixtape. Liz's tape snarled on the first go, so I was halfway into Rocket Man when I had to rescue my tape deck. Dan got so caught up in curating the perfect mix and timing the song correctly that he missed the deadline.
Sounds right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Yep.
Miles recorded a series of carefully composed rants on various subjects, which, while not music, certainly was illuminating.
Woo!
Kit just sent me a tape of Fall Out Boy songs interspersed with the sound of various birds of prey warning and mating calls, which has done a great job of keeping pigeons away and teaching the local birds of prey that they will remember me for centuries as the one that exposed them to Fall Out Boy. Kit goes first this week, then Miles, Dan, and Liz. Kit, do it for the lols.
Since everyone else has done it by now, let me open my argument the old Liz Logan way.
Yeah.
2 meters tall, ex-basketball player, beautiful kid, and on top of it, a gay alien. Alright, so that's not actually what Radical Edward looks like. That's the description the bounty hunter Jet Black managed to compile when looking for this infamous net diver. And it was almost all wrong, except for the kid part. Edward Wong Hao Pepelu Tibruski IV is an Earth-based hacker from the year 2071. So infamous that the average person on the street knew of and spread rumors about her, but so mysterious that no one actually knew anything accurate about her, other than the hacking. The future Ed lives in is one in which technology has advanced to the point where hyperspace travel exists, allowing humans to terraform and colonize Mars as well as many moons and asteroids. This is a solar system that requires incomprehensibly advanced internet and communication systems in order to allow for information exchange to the vastness of space. In Cowboy Bebop, this is referred to as the Universal Network, and Ed swims through it. In a kind of literal way, she swims through it by use of her VR goggles and laptop that she probably put together herself from scraps she found around the ruins of Earth since she was abandoned as a small child. But being abandoned is nothing to a child prodigy with the whimsy of a kitty on catnip. Her understanding of tech goes beyond that of my opponent's hackers with their present-day computer knowledge. Edward put together a drone piloting device that, with a flip of the switch, could locate, hack into, and control a nearby ship. As in, spaceship. When she wanted to speak to the crew of the Bebop, she inserted an interactive channel into their systems where there had not been one before. In the episode Pierrot Le Faux, Jet asks Ed to hack into the Intersolar System Police's Section 13, where the police agency keeps its deepest, darkest secrets. Jet tells her this is a pretty tall order, but Ed does it. Naturally. But she isn't limited by her life in the future. In Speak Like a Child, Faye receives a Betamax tape from an anonymous source that is obviously unable to play such an archaic piece of tech. However, Edward tracks down where on Earth a Betamax player could be and somehow discovers that there should be some in the ruins of a building that used to sell electronics. How do you find out where something is in ruins? Through computers? But she does it. When Spike and Jet return with a VHS player, she can immediately tell it's not going to work with the Betamax tape. Like, I don't even fucking know about Betamax. I grew up with VHS. I'm like only a few decades away. I should know this, but she knows it. It's 2071. When they receive an appropriate player from the same anonymous source, Ed can tell that it's the correct thing and is also able to set it up to an old school TV. Not enough proof? When the Bebop crew went looking for a bounty on some hacker that took control of an old Earth satellite, Edward quickly figured out that the satellite in question was in fact a lonely old AI that missed the way Earth used to be. Ed found it by swimming through the data until she heard the sad satellite, and very quickly and naturally made friends with it. Communicating with an old yet highly sophisticated software that unintentionally causes problems. That sounds pretty similar to Inspector Gadget to me. And if you think about it, my dear judge, the young genius Edward is just a more eccentric version of Penny. While Nomi, Daisy, and Elliot will be attempting to furiously type their way through this mixture of alien systems and go-go gadget nonsense like a man with a hammer, Radical Edward will be swimming through the data, chatting with Gadget and distracting him from his unhelpful helpfulness with her childish charm, as she hacks her way through by typing with her toes.
All right, Miles, do it for the people.
I always do. You know, most of the time when we do these four-way matches, we have characters with a really diverse skill set that each have their own way of going after the objective. Like in the Hunger Games match, we had like a killer, a smart person, a popular person, and a magic person. This isn't really like that. Our objective here is to hack a system, and these characters are all awesome hackers, except Skye. They have to be awesome hackers or they wouldn't be in the match, except Skye, who's in the match anyway. So when I tell you that Nomi Marks is an awesome hacker, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, regardless of whether or not you watched Sense8. She is great at this, just like Elliot Alderson is great at this, just like Radical Ed is great at this, and in the exact way that Skye isn't great at this. Over the course of the first season of Sense8, Nomi hacks her way to pretty much any piece of information she needs and uses hacking to accomplish pretty much any objective she desires. She gets people through security, steals personal information, acquires transport, and effectively prevents a person from being tracked or discussed over the internet, which is a Herculean fucking feat. She even manages to wipe herself off the map, which we know from the Christmas episode when it's made clear that the United States government has no idea where she is and has been searching in vain for a good deal of time. Accessing data? Nomi accesses data with unfettered ease, and as the only person in this match who has demonstrably out-hacked the goddamn government, I'd say she has the edge here. But again, except for Skye, all these characters are good at hacking. The question isn't what Nomi has in common with them, it's what sets her apart. And I'm almost sorry to bring this up because it feels like cheating, but it can't be avoided. Nomi is not just one person. She is 8 people. Like, for a Smash Fiction matchup, we can say that Ed doesn't have the rest of the BEBOP crew, or Skye doesn't have the rest of her S.h.i.e.L.D. team, or Elliot doesn't have these 0 people he hangs out with anyway because he's an antisocial, shut-in crazy person. We cannot say that Nomi does not have the rest of the Sensates, however, because she does. Even if they're not physically in the same place, they can and will show up at any time, and because of that, Nomi has access to an entire set of skills that Elliot, Ed, and Skye have limited knowledge of at best. She can suddenly develop excellent driving skills, crack an uncrackable safe, or build a bomb out of household items. She can turn into a deadly underground MMA fighter, or a cop trained in the use of firearms. You might not think these skills will come in handy during a hacker battle, but hacking a system like this isn't just a matter of sitting at a computer and fake typing. Location is vital. Success or failure is often a matter of where you are, who is around you, what networks you have access to, whether or not you're being interrupted by somebody, and how quickly you can get from one high security area to another, among other various factors that may come up. Nomi has all these bases covered because the Sensates work like a well-oiled machine by the time they actually start working together. Not to mention the fact that Nomi has her girlfriend Amanita, who is fucking badass and has proven a skilled and dedicated companion in various illicit activities. And perhaps more importantly, Nomi can tap into the states of mind of the other Sensates. No, she might not need Wolfgang's safecracking skills or Sun's fighting abilities, but to be able to access their mental states, to share their calmness and confidence, that's a big deal. Nomi Marks is going to win this hacker battle for one simple reason. She isn't just a hacker. She is much, much more. She isn't just a me. She's also a we.
Oh, so beautiful.
Dan, do it for Coulson.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to Smash Fiction's soon-to-be newest Hall of Famer, Daisy Johnson. You may know her by her hacker handle, Skye, or her superhero name, Quake. Then again, you may also know her by the name that the nuns gave her when she was placed in an orphanage. That name, of course, was Mary Sue. Yes, Daisy is so unbelievably competent and skilled that she has in-universe acknowledgement of how story-breakingly impressive she is. How impressive is that? Let me count the ways. You know S.h.i.e.L.D.? The global super spy agency that's like the CIA plus the NSA times 1,000 with a crazy sci-fi military? In the first episode of Agents of S.h.i.e.L.D., Daisy successfully hacks into said agency from the back of her van using a crappy laptop she won on a bet. She finds out more about S.h.i.e.L.D.'s top secret projects than most high-level agents know. S.h.i.e.L.D. comes to her looking for info on the villainous organization Centipede because she, Again, from her van, because lest we forget she's basically the Mr. T of hacking, she finds out more about Centipede than this massive worldwide version of Big Brother does. Even when they seize her and have her gear in custody, they can't even break her encryption. She has her situation locked down so tight that a massively powerful information gathering agency, under ideal circumstances, can't even get past her login page. Daisy dances through databases like no one else, and can do so without leaving a single trace of her presence. S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Phil Coulson remarks, "We know nothing about her. Do you know how often that happens? That never happens." In the pilot episode, Daisy digitally erases Mike Peterson from every data system in existence in minutes. In the later episode Providence, she cleans the entirety of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s databases of all the knowledge they have on her and her friends when they go off the grid. She hacks into NSA satellites in under an hour. She remotely hacks into Supertech's cybernetic eyes before she even knows that such tech exists. She's able to hack into freaking Hydra, a feat which, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, only Tony Stark has been able to reliably replicate. And she's able to do it without the aid of the Iron Man suit. Also, keep in mind that this match revolves around unknown alien technology. Of all the contestants here, Daisy is the only one who has ever dealt with alien technology. Whether it's the super science of the Kree or the borderline magic of the Asgardians, Daisy has encountered tech which flat out makes no sense under current human understandings of science. Every other contestant here will be going in totally blind and unprepared for what to expect, but this is just the same old song and dance for Quake. Now, keep in mind, all of those skills that she demonstrated back in her janky equipment days are still intact, but now she's an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. She's able to pull digital tricks and stunts using equipment that doesn't even exist in the worlds of some of the other competitors here tonight. Can Nomi come even close to that level of hardware on her beaten down laptop? Can Elliot match S.H.I.E.L.D.'s processing power while he works off of the public Wi-Fi connection in a freaking coffee shop? What could Ed possibly hope to do from the BEBOP, a spaceship which somehow manages to be even more pathetic than Serenity? But it's one thing to have superior skills and hardware. You need something more. Not to worry, for like any self-respecting Mary Sue, Daisy is good at more or less everything. One of her strongest abilities is her ability to think quickly and creatively under pressure, whether she's hacking or not. In the second episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., a hole gets torn open in the side of the S.H.I.E.L.D. superplane, and Daisy uses an inflatable life raft to seal it up. There's an amazing scene in the Season 2 episode, The Dirty Half Dozen, when she takes out about a dozen Hydra agents in a row by herself without using her powers once. Despite the fact that they're coming from multiple directions, they're in a complex environment with numerous blind spots, and they're all wearing body armor. And keep in mind, she'd only very recently been trained in how to fight. Her victory was not only due to her ability to soak up the necessary skills quickly and thoroughly, but also due to her ability to think quickly and critically in the heat of the moment, all of which are crucial when engaged in any kind of combat scenario, whether in the physical world or the digital world. Daisy lives in a world of gods, monsters, superhumans, and super geniuses. And yet, no one in the MCU even approaches her level of skill when it comes to hacking. At this point, this isn't even a match anymore. When Daisy's done here, S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to have to change its acronym again, this time to Shitty Hackers Inevitably Lose to Daisy.
Wow.
Oh, that was very
it's on
beautiful,
now, Dan.
Thank you. Liz, do it for society.
So what comes to mind when you think of a hacker? It's probably not a crop top jogging capri wearing boy, I mean girl, with rosy cheeks, a woman who desperately wants to be a Hot Topic model, or a blonde, lesbian, glasses wearing trans woman. Okay, well maybe the glasses part, but I digress. No, it's most likely going to be some hoodie wearing 20-something tripped up, paranoid, introverted dude who's got more experience fingering a keyboard than a woman. This is exactly...
Oh my god.
This is exactly what Elliot Alderson from Mr. Robot is all about, and we love him for it. Coping with society by having eyes only for that sweet mistress Callie Linux, his sister to a degree, Metasploit, and Deep Sound, among others, Elliot is an experienced hacker trying to make the world free and has shown competency in all levels of cryptography, phishing, and, well, in this case, yeah, penetration.
Ugh.
Let's start from the beginning about what we know of Elliot. He's a brilliant cybersecurity engineer working for one of the premier digital security companies in New York City, AllSafe. AllSafe is a contractor for E-CORP, a corporation that is part Apple, Wall Street, and 100% evil. Having been raised from a young age to tinker with computers, Elliot has more circuits than veins. Nearly his whole freaking family was involved in computer systems. His father ran a computer repair shop, and his sister is constantly trying to emulate his hacking prowess. She's not as good. Elliot is so good at what he does, and so good at actually producing results, an entire hacking collective termed S.h.i.e.L.D. has sprung up to back him up on whatever he decides to hack. He's meticulous at what he does, able to plan hacks while essentially on autopilot during his surprisingly productive benders, and is utterly compelling in his own way to people he meets, whom he then hacks. Because, of course, why not? There's rarely anything that actually trips Elliot up because of how up to speed he keeps himself on everything hacking. Hacking, 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 hack. When there's some...
Ice.
Ice, yeah. When there's something that he hasn't seen, it doesn't really take him long to figure a problem out. Plus, when shit does hit the fan, Elliot is able to take care of things quickly, or even prevent bad things from happening in the first place. Tape over his webcam? Check. Microwave to burn all computer hardware when his IP is traced? Check. Makeshift drugs and eating his own vomit to hack more? Check. Moving on to his accomplishments, let's revisit E-CORP, otherwise known as Evil Corp. Elliot and his F-Society were able to wipe all E-CORP records. Since E-CORP is part bank, part tech firm, this really throws a wrench in a modern economic system. They essentially wiped everyone's finances and lives completely clean. An executive of E-CORP actually committed suicide because of it. And you know how they did all this? Through a series of extremely precise hacks, all part of Elliot's plan, both physical and digital. He's able to gain access to a data storage facility named Steel Mountain. He and his team used a laptop to drive a minivan through a CAN bus, intercepted the key fob signal to clone it, used a dry erase marker with an Arduino controller to hack a hotel room lock, used a Raspberry Pi to overheat a building through a thermostat, and used an RFID scanner to grab an employee access badge. Elliot was able to do this without traditional superpowers, without a guardian hacker angel, and without a supportive pseudo-father and bounty hunting team. He has no one. He follows no one's orders but his own. He's just that good. To him, everyone else is an instrument. Plus, let's think about how Elliot deals with other hackers and adversaries on the scene. Essentially, no one ever knows what is going on in Elliot's head, and they sure as hell can't follow his technological traces. He delegates parts of his plans, so each side, whether it be F-Society or the Dark Army or Tyrell Wellick, never know completely what is going on. So Elliot is always the only one with all the cards in his hand. You know how he hides his data and results? He encrypts files and JPEGs inside freaking audio tracks on CDs that he then labels as music. They work like actual CDs too, actually playing music. This allows him to hide his files excellently and have a great physical media collection straight out of 1995. Cool! Oh, and you know how he deals with law enforcement and other people wanting to kill him after being the kingpin in the biggest data hack in history? He gets himself purposefully caught and sent to prison so he had an alibi for not being able to participate in the second part of the plan. Except he's the one that wrote and executed the second part of the plan and put it in motion. Now he's just protecting himself so one day he can hack again. And guess what? He even manages to hack in prison, exposing a corrupt prison guard's version of the black market Silk Road. He's just that lovable. Elliot is so powerful and brilliant that just about anyone in the hacker community will help keep him alive. He has his own personal bodyguard in Leon from the Dark Army in prison. He causes Tyrell Wellick to have Jesus-style epiphanies about how great he is. Essentially, he's the James Bond of hacking. He's got every tool under the sun, can think on his feet, isn't afraid to go into a challenge at a disadvantage, and is surrounded by people who either idolize or fear him. Pwned.
Now, we enter the shoutiest of times. Rebuttals. You may now bring your rebuts to Kit.
Your dude doesn't wear shoes, okay? She's gonna get hurt.
How?
I'm writing that down right now.
She's gonna trip, and her foot's gonna go straight up into her face, and
Why
she's
is
gonna
she
be dead.
That hasn't stopped her. She falls and trips and rolls around. She's kind of a Stitch. She's better that way.
Okay.
She's fully mobile. She can hang upside down and type with her toes. Can you fucking type with your toes? I mean, Elliot, I mean you, whatever. Can both of you type with your toes? I don't fucking think so.
She's also the youngest and least experienced person here, and she is highly susceptible to distraction. I think that when working from the BEBOP and working on specific jobs, Ed is great, but she rarely has like competition where she needs to outspeed hack people or like beat somebody to the target. So in that case, I'm not sure I see her winning just because she's gonna see something shiny in her little 3D network generator thing and just be off.
When has she been distracted while hacking?
I imagine she hacks a little bit slower than these other characters
Nope.
because she is, she likes to enjoy life to the fullest, and also she's like a 13-year-old, a weird child.
And you do see her getting distracted like a lot. Like she gets like zoned out into things.
Like in the middle of sentences, she loses it.
Not when she's hacking. She's quite focused while hacking because it's so interesting to her. When she's just doing her weird child life thing, oh yeah, she's just being a weird kitty cat around the Bebop.
Ed might not get distracted when she hacks, but like I've seen what happens when she hacks, and her little interface goggles let her get all up close and personal with her hacking, but we see in her first episode jamming with Edward that when she tries to download a whole bunch of data at once, like the AI in that episode or, the weird alien tech in this particular match, her goggles overload and can actually knock her out.
She wasn't knocked out. She was just like, But but she got it though. But she got it. You'll admit that, right?
I mean, she got it.
She is the comedic relief. She is definitely going to get zapped by the end of this.
I think
me.
I think there's a better chance that she's going to get zapped in the middle of it.
Edward, throughout her tenure on the Bebop, she's just a tool of the Bebop team. She's part of problem solving and catching criminals, but she's never really the original architect of any plan. She hardly even ever participates in the actual catching of the criminals.
Not everything needs hacking. She's there when they need a hacker. Tappity, tappity, tappity.
All right, now, bring your rebooties towards Miles.
Just back those rebooties right
Present
up.
them to him. Yep, right onto him. Right onto his face.
Right into the orgy.
Okay, so, Miles,
Yeah.
a lot of what Nomi's capable of in the last episode of Season 1 is only because Amanita is there to help her. And I realize you think you're super sneaky, trying to imply in your opening arguments that Amanita will be here tonight, but she totally won't. Like, if I don't get Fitzsimmons, you don't get Amanita, sir. But
Fine.
see, that's
But she's so great. But I love her.
She is, and that's a really big problem for you, because Amanita in that last episode is the one who uses Metzger's credit card to rent a car. She's the one who comes up with the idea to sabotage the Porsche. She's the one who finds the employee records that Will uses to infiltrate the BPO facility. Like, Nomi's contribution to this whole interaction is way more dependent on her ability to talk telepathically to Will than it is on her actual hacking skills.
Well, first of all, she can still talk telepathically to Will. Second of all, you're right that Amanita is not here, but I think you are discounting Nomi's contributions to a lot of these general plans in a big way. You are limiting your comments to the last episode, in which Amanita plays a very large role, as well she should, because she is, as previously mentioned, amazing. But in earlier episodes, Nomi is the driving force behind their plans to get back at Whispers and the people that are doing what they are trying to do to her. And she also has, in addition to Amanita's help, a great deal of fucking badass hacking equipment that she got from her contact that owed her a favor, and this is like some NSA grade shit. So I don't think the absence of Amanita is going to be a huge drawback in this case.
Miles just brought up her contact, which I presume you're talking about Bug, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, she can't even source her own hacking tools. She has to go to Bug like all the time. And when you have to do that, that means you're traceable. So all Elliot has to do is like trace that shit and figure out where she's getting her stuff from, because he does that all the time. He traces people's transactions and their whereabouts. Everything's hackable. And he'll be able to block her out of the system while he's hacking the system.
She had to go to Bug once when she was getting back into the illicit criminal hacking game.
At least twice she visited him.
He shows up at least twice, but she only had to go to him once to get the equipment. And she also, by the beginning of Season 2, has, as I mentioned, made herself totally untraceable to the US government, which has a great deal more resources than Elliot Alderson.
Okay, hold on. Haven't we proven, like, in every hacking show ever that the US government is, like, the least defended system ever?
Are you living in the real world?
Because, let me tell you, the government, That's the easiest thing to hack.
She is concealing herself from their hackers, which is what she will do to Alderson if he tries to fuck with her.
Again, not really an accomplishment.
Again, we are living in 2016. Sensate is a recent show. The NSA is crazy and scary.
Less thinking, more yelling, less yelling, more
And on
hacking.
that
And very hackable.
Nomi had to go into Metzger's home to hack into his personal files. Your average hacker in Hollywood depictions of them, speaking of Liz, could easily hack into someone's computer just via tubes. Many, many tubes.
She had to go home to access his personal network, which is how, networks work. So...
Not in Hollywood.
Well, the fact that Sense8 is a more realistic show than, I don't know, Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, a more realistic telepathy show.
It is, though. She had to go there because that was where she had to go to access his files. It's a location game. It's a location game for these other characters, too. I can think of at least a couple of times when, for example, Skye or Elliot had to go to specific locations to do what needed to be done.
Oh, dude, Cowboy Bebop is a grim warning about the dangers of hyperspace gates. We have to pay attention to that anime.
Noted.
Whatever you say.
Okay. Backing it up on to Dan.
First of all, she's drank the S.h.i.e.L.D. Kool-Aid. That's her first issue. But also, one time, she was betrayed by someone she trusted and was close to her. And that makes you weak when you do that. Unlike Elliot, who trusts no one, ever, not even his own sister. Everything is kept in that little sweet brain of his.
Okay, so first of all, Daisy may be a dedicated S.h.i.e.L.D. agent, but that stems more from the fact that she has extremely strong convictions in general, and it's actually those convictions which led to her developing the incredibly strong skill set that she has. She's kind of like Edward Snowden on steroids. Like, she believes
Oh my God.
from the beginning of the series that information belongs to everyone. And again, it's that belief that leads her to become the preeminent hacker in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So any beliefs that she has are only going to fuel her more strongly to go after this prize.
Let's make her combo breaker! In the episode I Spy, a former S.h.i.e.L.D. agent uses her cybernetic eye to spy on S.h.i.E.L.D. agents in a surveillance van. Daisy said, "Give me an hour, and we can look back," before she traced the transmission and hacked into the cyber eye. Ed has shown she can hack a hell of a lot more quickly than an hour.
That system that Daisy was trying to hack did not exist prior to, basically maybe a month before that episode. And no one knew about it. It was this super secret technology that existed sort of within the clairvoyance circle, and Daisy didn't even know what she was hacking before she was successfully able to do it. The fact that she's able to hack into a system she knows nothing about on a basic technological level within an hour is amazing.
A lot of the information about Daisy being a great hacker comes from season 1, and that is totally understandable. In season 2, she starts kind of being trained as a S.h.i.E.L.D. agent, and we kind of see her being more of a badass at the very first episode of season 2, and her hacking abilities, she still uses them occasionally, but they go by the wayside in terms of the fact that she's not learning anything new about them. She kind of stays at the same level hacker-wise that she was at the beginning, while she focuses instead on developing her secret agent skills and her superpowers. Want to read real quick a couple of Daisy Skye lines from the pilot episode of Agents of S.h.i.E.L.D., which Dan also referenced. "How will you come at us? From the air? From the ground? How will you silence us this time? How can you? The truth is in the wind. It's everywhere. You cannot stop the rising tide. You will not find us. You will never see our faces, but rest assured, we will rise against those who shield us from the truth. And nothing can stop us in the..." At which point, S.h.i.E.L.D. agents break into her van, and her next line is, "Hey, what up?" So, if she hasn't really advanced from that point, I'm gonna say she's not really that great at this hacking thing. Just saying.
Okay, so you made a couple of points there, Miles. The first thing I want to address is this idea that her skills have somehow deteriorated because she's been focusing on other things, combat.
I didn't say deteriorated, I said didn't advance.
Sure. The thing to remember about Daisy's hacking abilities are that they come naturally to her. Like, she's a high school dropout. She was never formally trained in hacking, and yet at age 25, again, not to belabor this point, but from a van, she's the single greatest digital threat to S.h.i.e.L.D. Those types of skills didn't come from a class. They're not going to deteriorate away if she takes a few months to polish up her kung fu skills. She's still going to be the greatest hacker on the planet, regardless of how much time she dedicates to training herself. She's still the person that learned about Hydra's infiltration of S.h.i.e.L.D. before it was revealed in the movie The Winter Soldier. She's the one who manages to trick and outsmart Lorelei, the Asgardian who was terrorizing S.h.i.e.L.D. Those skills are all perfectly intact to her.
Again, I just want to make it clear, I did not say her skills were deteriorating. I said her skills were the same when she got caught by S.h.i.e.L.D. instead of successfully avoiding them while she was talking about the fact that she was going to successfully avoid them. S.h.i.e.L.D., I might add, being, like, the most easy to break in and collapse spy agency ever.
The only reason that they were able to find her was because she released plans onto the internet of various secret projects that S.h.i.E.L.D. was operating on. Up until that point, they had no idea who she was or where she was operating from. The fact that she released it allowed them to catch her scent, and I acknowledge that. But the thing that implies is she was able to, up till that point, get in and out of S.h.i.E.L.D. totally undetected and grab the information she needed totally unimpeded, which is what we are supposed to be doing here today. Whether she gets caught afterwards or not is immaterial when it comes to what the goalpost is for this match.
All right.
S.h.i.E.L.D's easier to hack than the government.
Thank you.
Probably, yeah.
You guys are high. Sam Jackson runs S.h.i.E.L.D.
AKA Mr. Got Shot by Everybody in Winter Soldier.
And survived. S.h.I.E.L.D. develops LMDs.
So
they're weaponizing magic in this current season.
And finally, Liz. Receive the booties.
Does not compute.
One thing that Mr. Robot has gotten a lot of praise for is that they never do a hack that's not actually possible in real life. The whole thing has to make sense, otherwise it doesn't get on the air. Like, it's pretty unique in that way, which means, of course, that Elliot is so much more handicapped than Ed and Daisy are in this match. Like, Ed and Daisy have done much more impressive things because they're effectively operating in a fantasy world, while Elliot is chained by the demands of his showrunners, writers, and the laws of science, basically.
As I said, Elliot has no one. Everything that happens in that show is his brainchild. Everyone else is people he basically pulls off the street and says, hey, you want to help me with this? No one else comes up with anything. Who does Daisy have? The entire backing of S.h.i.E.L.D. Who does Radical Edward have? The entire backing of the BEBOP team. Who does Nomi have? The entire Sense8 team. He does everything on his own. And plus, as I explained, every hack takes place in precise steps. So just because something doesn't make sense in the wider picture, it doesn't mean that small problems won't make sense to him. For example, gotta crack into this? Okay, do this little thing. Oh, this doesn't seem to be in place. Do this. It's not like he's like, oh god, Inspector Gadget's in an obelisk. Blah, 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 blah. What is this? No, he separates and isolates problems, delegates tasks, and establishes good workflow to solve problems. That's what he's good at.
Kind of similar to Ed. I just think that the issues that Elliot has kind of dealing with the world around him are going to hamper him in a competitive environment. I think that in his world, he is very, very good at what he does, but in a competitive environment where there are people who are going to be dealing with less distraction and less kind of restrictive worldview that he has going on, I just think he's going to be a step behind.
While I somewhat agree, Elliot still has the use of drugs, which he uses heavily in order to self-medicate and actually see things through.
Right.
But he also, I haven't even talked about him yet, but Mr. Robot, Christian Slater, his father's ghost, spoilers. That is the persona. When Elliot himself feels in danger, he defaults to the Mr. Robot persona, and that's how he also gets things done. It's like his safety mechanism. That's what keeps the plans going. That's what keeps him safe in prison, and how he's able to still execute everything while his Elliot persona is being safe. So his mind has partitioned itself to keep, still the brilliant Elliot, but also the brilliant Mr. Robot. Don't let Elliot's instability fuck up the plans. Mr. Robot self-regulates Elliot, so he's got a really good complex mental process going on right there.
Bullshit, horseshit, any way you look at it. The only thing I really feel like commenting on is just the way that Elliot gets his passwords. He seems to require a certain amount of information about people and then plugs that into his system, which sort of runs through every combination for him. You're not going to be able to hack into Ed's shit that way. She is so loony and unpredictable. It'll be like that dude that he had in the first episode that he had a hard time tracking down. That was his major first challenge there. A guy that kind of kept himself off the grid, but not really.
Well, it's because he was using a false name.
There you go, yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
Ed also has many weird false names.
Luckily, we're not hacking Ed here, but as I said before, Mr. Robot, or Elliot, also has his own crazy ways of hiding information that don't require any false names or any craziness. It's actually the cleverness of how he encrypts things. He doesn't just say, oh, like Skye or whatever, this hard drive's encrypted now. No, he actually goes through a detailed system of doing it. But he still could crack Ed's passwords no matter how complicated Ed's false names or passwords or whatever is. Elliot has shown that he's a master at reading people and looking into the things that they like. It's not that he goes through a waste bin and says, oh, look at their favorite color. Oh, look at their animal's name. No, he actually traces their IPs or whatever. It has nothing to do with information like passwords or whatever. No, he actually just finds their digital IP address or their access points and then goes at it at a system level, not a user level.
He's gonna find a bunch of cute little emoticons just all
yeah,
over
but
the screen.
when you're going in at it at a system level instead of a user level, that stuff, passwords and stuff, that doesn't matter.
Deep. We're getting deep into the web.
Oh, no. We have to go back.
And all these things. I know. We'll never come back.
Penis is everywhere.
And you're the one stuck with those VR goggles, too. They're just all up in your face.
Oh, we replaced them all with little anglerfish.
Well, that was definitely a round of rebuttals. That was 1,000% a round of rebuttals. No question about it.
It met the minimum requirements for a round of rebuttals.
The minimum requirements met many times over.
Yes.
Okay. Unplug your electronics and get out your analog technology, folks, because it is the lightning round.
Got that EMP shielding up.
So at least one piece of data has been uncovered. And it's a map of the galaxy and a clip from Thelma and Louise.
Uh-huh.
The monolith is sick and tired of traveling alone. Aww. And while Gadget was a tolerable traveling companion, the monolith is looking for something bigger. Road trip!
Oh no.
The monolith appears before each of you and offers unlimited access to all the knowledge it possesses if you can promise it the trip of a lifetime. It has been monitoring you and has noticed and thinks maybe you could be friends. So, advocates, where are you and the monolith going on your road trip? What kind of transport are you going to take on this journey? What regional or truck stop food are you planning to introduce the monolith to? Any jams that you and the monolith are going to rock out to? Any fun-loving nicknames you're going to have for each other by the end of this? And if you can, what's the craziest scrape you think you two will get up to? Liz, tell me about this fantastic journey.
Well, not only is this journey so fantastic, but it's going to be adapted into a movie, and that movie is going to be called Pointy Lisk and Clickety Click, The Amazing Adventures of Dr. Spinbot.
Oh my god!
Yep.
Okay.
Off to a great start.
Tell me more!
So anyways, remember how I was talking about those sick audio CDs circa 1995? Oh yeah, Dr. Spinbot. Mr. Robot has graduated. Now he's Dr. Spinbot. Him and this sweet obelisk are gonna be on a minivan, ecstasy, Adderall-fueled adventure through the streets of Germany. That's right. We're starting off in Berlin. Dr. Spinbot needs to get those sweet jams rolling and that ecstasy rolling. So we're in Berlin, Germany, and we're going to every single rave around. We're going to every club. The obelisk now has spotlights and a disco ball attached to him, spinning right on the top. So each time they get to the club, Pointy Lisk unloads from the minivan, props himself up on the dance floor, and Dr. Spinbot lays down those sweet tunes. His main remix is a remix of Nature Boy by the late, great David Bowie. And it's about him and his life journey and how, well, he never finds love or knows what it is to love, but still, he's a very strange, enchanted boy. That's right. Dr. Spinbot lays down all the beats. They get into all sorts of hijinks. They're constantly running from the German police because all the drug dealers want to sell to Dr. Spinbot. He's hacking everything along the way, making his remixes even better. Their ultimate goal? Munich, because they're going to Oktoberfest. And there, Dr. Spinbot introduces Pointy Lisk to the amazingness of German beer and pretzels. And now Pointy Lisk has pretzels hanging on him too.
Oh my god!
And people eat off of it. And then soon they're ecstasy-laced pretzels, and things get even crazier. Tune in next time to Pointy Lisk and Clickety Click. The Amazing Adventures of Dr. Spinbot 2.
Liz, I didn't realize you were the second coming of Jack Kerouac. That was amazing.
Oh man, I realized that like 10 episodes ago.
Oh my god. Well, let me know whenever the manga comes out for this. Okay. Dan,
Yep.
tell me about this trip.
All right, so Daisy is an Inhuman, which is something that I somehow did not manage to touch on at all during the main rounds. One thing about the
Because
Inhuman...
every time she touches her keyboard, she's going to shake it to pieces. That's why you didn't mention it.
Yeah, well, you know, we all have our problems. One of the things that is present about the Inhumans in the comic books, but not in the MCU, is that they live in a floating city called Adelan. And so, Daisy's going to shift universes ever so slightly and take the obelisk on a road trip to the Inhuman city of Adelan. To do this, she's going to borrow Phil Coulson's flying red sports car Lola. She's going to pop in the last CD which was in there, which is actually one of Tony Stark's old CDs, which means that they are listening to exclusively AC/DC all the way there. Once they get there, it turns out that Adelan is one of those kind of like boring high-tech future cities where like they take all their meals in little pills and stuff. But thankfully, Daisy is ready. She has a nice little spice that goes well with everything called Spirit Spread that she puts on their little health pills, and it just tastes magnificent. During this whole time, she, of course, begins to develop nicknames for the obelisk. When they have to stay at a hotel or something and, you know, they need to present ID, he goes by Obadiah Lisk. But because Daisy Johnson is a Joss Whedon character, she comes up with a very Joss Whedon-esque name for him and calls him Mr. Pointy. And the craziest thing that happens to them is while they're on the road, some Hydra agents come looking for them when they're staying in this big abandoned house off the side of the road. And they end up getting into a crazy Scooby-Doo-esque chase scene in the middle of this house with Daisy and the obelisk running in one door in a long hallway while the Hydra agents follow them. And then everyone is coming in and out of doors. At one point, Daisy and the obelisk are chasing after the Hydra agents. At one point, they're all running away from the Harlem Globetrotters. It's awesome.
Oh, that's really beautiful.
I'm sorry, Dan. Are you suggesting that they could drive Coulson's flying car to the blue area of the moon?
Sir, New Adelan is now in Manhattan. I'll have you know.
You didn't say New Adelan.
Well, actually, Old Adelan was floating above Manhattan before it was destroyed by Black Bolt and Thanos, so, you know, it's fine. It's fine. Or maybe they can drive to Antarctica, where it was before it went to the moon. Or to Nepal, where it was before that. You know, plenty of
maybe they
areas.
can drive to the moon and asphyxiate on the way there.
Sure, that's an option, too.
Wow, Miles, why are you so feisty? It's only the lightning round. Gracious. And you will continue to be now, as you tell me about the road trip.
So I actually had a very, kind of a similar idea to Liz's idea. Not exactly the same, because, while I think Elliot would have a bit of a hard time getting the Monolith into, like, nationally syndicated television programming, Nomi will have no trouble at all, given her experience as a video blogger, getting the Monolith into their new video blog series entitled Sense8. But, you know, 8 as in, like, having eaten.
Oh.
So they're actually going to go to 7 different cities in the initial season, because, you know, Nomi has some pals that can put him up for the night in all these places. This is going to be a massive road trip that takes them from Berlin to India to Iceland to Chicago to Nairobi and Mexico and Seoul. And every place they go, they are going to try the finest foods, and it's going to be the monolith sampling the finest foods that the planet Earth has to offer. And while they're on the way there, of course, they will be driving. You know, CAFIUS can visit them and I guess not visit, sharing in that case, but CAFIUS can come in and drive them on the Van Damme bus. I think it would be the preferred mode of transportation.
Well, especially since there's very few other vehicles that can actually fit an obelisk.
Yeah, so they're going to be driving along, they're going to be watching Jean-Claude Van Damme movies the whole fucking time, and they're going to, like, nickname each other after Van Damme characters, because CAFIUS is going to be entertaining everybody with you know, his, like, encyclopedic knowledge of Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. When they taste various dishes, they will give them new names based on Jean-Claude Van Damme movies.
Oh, wow.
And then the trip will finish in Mexico, where they will actually have a live special hosted by Lito, who of course is a famous Lito Rodriguez, famous celebrity actor in Mexico. They've sampled a bunch of Earth songs on their way, but of course What's Going On has been the favorite. So, you know, big live special, huge crowds, just everybody. Riley's going to be DJing in the background, providing all the music, you know, remixes of What's Going On and all that. And then, of course, everybody, all the sensates are going to show up at the end to the show. And after the show, it's just going to be a big monolith-centric orgy in person this time. So that, you know, the monolith can get a true taste of love here on Earth.
That's really romantic. Thanks, Miles.
Anytime.
Kit, take me on a journey.
All right. Well, obviously, when Ed meets the monolith, she gives everything a nickname. So, in Japanese, the way you would say monolith is monorisu, but she's got to cute that up. It's going to be morichu. So, her and Morichu are going to get on the BEBOP and go on a fucking journey to see the rings of Saturn. Because if you could go to space, what more beautiful place to, like, start showing stuff off, right? And in Cowboy Bebop, it's been established that they mine, like, asteroids for stuff. So there's probably, like, sweet-ass space joints that sell, like, amazing food to space truckers and shit. So let's have a fucking space fried hamburger. Oh, God, I really want that all of a sudden. I want a fried hamburger so bad. Their jams, I mean, if you're going to be in space, I don't care how you feel about Train, but they got to listen to Drops of Jupiter, right?
I mean, Cowboy Bebop comes with a pretty good soundtrack on its own without you needing to inject Train into it.
Listen to plenty of jazz and funk, that's fine too. But we're also going to inject Train, because it's my fucking show, Dan. And the Scrape, well, you know, they're on the Bebop. I think they wind up getting in an alert about a bounty. It looks like that giant space baby from 2021 has been looking for giant space boobs and is just grabbing planets and trying to suck them and wind up destroying the planet. So they're going to have to take that baby in. And only the monolith and Ed and probably Ein, because Ein is the smartest fucking character on that show, are going to have to, like, work together. It'll be beautiful. And Spike is actually going to reveal that his fourth least favorite thing is now also on the ship, because apparently he also hates monoliths.
I've just, thank you. Thank you all so much for this beautiful journey. And now I'm going to take a journey away to go judge. Farewell.
I thought that was going in a different direction.
I don't know. I feel like the obelisk might actually be a secret Inhuman. Maybe when it gets exposed to Terrigen Mist, it turns into, like, just a regular looking person. Because I don't know, like, some of the Inhumans are pretty weird. Like, there's one who turned into a giant bulldog with a mustache. And there's one that literally turned into a door. So
a door?
Yeah.
I didn't know about that, dude.
Yeah, there's an Inhuman that's just a door.
Marvel, what are you doing?
So, either way, the obelisk will feel right at home.
Even like the lame
monolith.
Yeah, you keep saying obelisk.
Oh,
he's a pheasant.
You're right.
Even the lamest X-Men is not lamer than a door.
Yeah, I know. That's why the monolith
fuck?
Is going to feel right at home.
I do want to talk about how much I fucking love Sense8, and I'm so happy for this show that I had to watch it.
Yeah, thanks for making us watch that show, Miles. It was very enjoyable.
I did have to ram jam it 2 days in a row, watch the whole fucking thing.
Oh, dude, I totally had to fucking mainline that thing, but like, I don't really feel like I'm gonna win this match, and I'm not upset about that because as it turns out, like, Nomi's abilities as a hacker are just so secondary to her as a character.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And the whole show is just is fundamentally about who these people are to a degree that just like makes me really happy in my feels.
Mhm.
So
My favorite characters are Leto and Sun, because Sun is a fucking badass, and I hope there's more Sun moments in the second season.
Sun is the shit.
I have to say, Liz, I'm also very appreciative for you introducing me to Mr. Robot because of this match,
Oh
because that was
my
another
god,
show I
it's
hadn't
so
seen.
good.
That shit is so good.
It's really, really good. Because, like, I think Sensate's, like, main draw is the character work. Like, the plot work is a little touch and go, and it can not make sense sometimes, but, like,
It's secondary.
the characters are where it shines. Whereas, like, Mr. Robot is so smart. And is
Yeah.
it just gets so intense. And yeah, I really enjoyed Mr. Robot a lot.
The oldest show on here was Cowboy Bebop, huh?
Yeah, 98.
Yeah, which I was actually already familiar with. It is Cowboy Bebop has a special place in my heart as the only anime basically that I don't hate.
It is quite
actually
good.
really
and
like
classic.
it.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
good.
it's good shit.
That's the one when people tell me they don't like anime, I'm like, oh, so you haven't seen Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened to me. I was like, anime, and then somebody was like, dude, watch this.
It's like, not all anime is created equal, dude.
And then I was like, all right, that was really good. What else you got? Oh. Everything else. And then I gotta be honest, I have not finished season 3 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because I got bored.
Well, that's fine.
Fine, yeah.
I thought season 2 was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, it's
And I followed season 3 to the mid-season finale, and then I just never watched anymore.
I mean, they got Ghost Rider in the current season, man. It gets real weird. real weird.
It is really supernatural up in there.
Yeah. Basically, Doctor Strange hit movie theaters, and they were like, all right, the gates are open. We're gonna do some weird shit.
All the magics.
Robots who learn magic. Because that's what happens in this show now.
Fuck.
I mean,
And on that note,
Yes.
as a magical robot myself, I have returned.
you are.
Hi, Bob.
Hello,
Hi.
Obelisk.
You guys did make it easy for me, as I knew you wouldn't. I did actually make a shitty spreadsheet for myself, and it helped me very little. So fuck you, spreadsheet. I don't know if this ruling is going to surprise you guys or if this is going to feel inevitable, but Radical Ed won.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, your opening was pretty strong, dude.
Shitting me?
Your opening was killer.
No, I know.
This is some
You're-
Bob, you are not lying to me, right? You're not putting my hopes up?
Aww.
No.
Oh, this is some
No.
Robin Hood shit all over again.
You made a point that was so surprising, and pretty much no one else was able to fully address it, which was that you are the one who is able to deal with weird technology and also really old technology. Nobody else mentioned that stuff in the level of depth that you did.
CDs
or
from
the fact that you made friends
1995
with
don't count?
technology.
Betamax players
They're
too.
not as old as a Betamax. That is not to say that the rest of you were not in the fucking running the entire time.
I thought Liz was gonna win.
I thought I was
Yeah.
gonna win too, honestly.
I thought anyone but me was gonna win.
I thought all of you were going to win, and then I went back to the description that I had laid out and went, you know what? You know who actually, much to my fucking surprise, ticked most of the boxes was Ed. So I was like, well, all right, based on the scenario I've laid out, this is what has happened.
Good job,
Um,
kid.
I'm
and
like
also,
shaking.
I mean,
did
it's
honor
really
to
great.
One of my favorite
Aw.
anime.
You are fucking killing this season, kid.
Yeah.
Nice
yeah.
job, Kit.
I think
It
this
was
actually puts you in
pretty-
first place now, Kit. I'll crunch the numbers tomorrow
Oh,
and let you
wow.
guys know.
Yay, suck it! Yay!
Wait, do you have a little poem for us about being in first place?
Oh, I wasn't expecting it, so I don't have a little Ed rhyme. I can just do
Oh.
one of my favorite
Oh,
things
okay.
that she says on the show. Child, just child, wild.
Aw.
Yep.
Just
That's
she
a reasonable
She
thing to
just
say.
yells
mean-
that about herself. Beep, 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 beep. Just in, while we were recording this, @sunnyboy on Twitter tweeted at us asking what are our current fan art wish list things.
Oh.
Now I'm gonna reply to them on Twitter because I actually use Twitter. But y'all can just say your bits here because they want to draw some fan art.
Stitch on Dante's shoulder. That's all I want.
Oh, Aww.
Oh, man.
I would say maybe like Sephiroth standing victorious over the other 4 finalists in the Smash Bash.
Oh, Dan.
That'd be kind of
so
cool.
just so you can masturbate to it?
Well, I mean, the more fan art of Sephiroth is in the world, the happier I become. So,
Besides, you know he'll let you watch.
Like, speaking of Stitch being on shoulders, I do have an image in my mind of Stitch playing Keep Away from Morden with the DDC, so...
that's pretty good.
I'm thinking of, like, stuff that would be specific to episodes. Like, I would love fan art of Neville Longbottom pulling Doctor Strange out of the Sorting Hat.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Oh my gosh, there's so many.
Oh my god.
Like, that would be great.
Baymax with Thor's hammer, obviously.
Oh, that needs to be done.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Oh my
Because
god.
then you get to design the cool, like, Thor look. Everyone's Thor look is a little different.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen Loki wielding the hammer, it's pretty cool.
Or Groot, as he did
Groot!
during Secret Wars.
Wander and Cthulhu playing Clue.
Oh my god!
would be-
How do you
That's
even
funny.
submit on that? A giant claw moving the piece.
Well, no, it's like you just see Cthulhu like sort of hunched over looking at something, and then like one corner of the picture is like under a magnifying glass.
I think the best one probably would be the Jonas Brothers vehicle.
Oh no!
That's
If you
Oh
never
yeah,
played the
yes,
Montana
that.
Oh shit. No, okay. So whenever Colin said the daddy wagon thing, I know I come back to this well a lot,
I know.
but that a little part of me both dies and explodes with happiness every time I think about it. I don't know if I want to see it or if I just want it to live in my soul forever, but it's kind of lodged in there anyway.
Listeners, listen to episode 43 for the Jonas Brothers Abomination vehicle, and listen to episode 50 for the Daddy Wagon, its own kind of abomination.
Oh, there were 2 things that are in my heart. One is Dante looking longingly at Morgana,
Oh yes.
and Morgana completely fucking ignoring Dante. And then
Or like looking
the other
back at
thing
him in
was
fear.
in grave discomfort.
Yeah.
The other one was Stitch disguised as Loot Dog, but like very visibly Stitch, but also still Loot Dog, sitting on a bar stool and like looking over his shoulder at the whoever's drawing the picture.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
That that's in my heart. I'm sort of like, I want somebody to draw it so I can have a tattoo of it.
Yeah, Stitch as Loot Dog basically looks like a blue healer or a Australian cattle dog in my mind. So yeah, take that away.
And in homage to the first episode of all, I still think that Terminator dressed in a Gaston costume would be
Or Peter Pan.
What?
Because, mobility shorts.
yeah, one of the two. Anything related to the Show Must Go On episode of Extraordinary
Yes.
League, which is still
Oh yeah.
my favorite
Oh my
thing ever.
god.
We have much fan art, thanks. Miles' friend, Matthias?
Matthias, yeah.
He made us, if you guys haven't gone online and seen yet, the My Little Pony Bond Girls fan art. He actually made that into an art.
And Magic Meat Flaps is just as disturbing as you imagine.
Matthias, you have my heart for that.
Speaking of having Bob's heart, Troidel drew us Golf Daddy Voldemort. So thank you
Troy,
very
you
much.
also have my heart.
That's another one I'd like to draw. I kind of visualize Golf Daddy Voldemort in, like, the box, the packaging, with all the little accessories with them as well. Sandwich Surplus also made us some Stitch riding a Tricera board, basically.
I saw that.
Thank you for all that art, guys. It's so great.
We do love the
Yes.
art.
And if any of you want to write fan fiction, I want that too.
Oh, yeah. No, we accept fanfiction. That's Bob's sustenance. She needs it to
I know.
live.
I'll just mainline it. I'll crush it up and put it into my eyes.
Thank you to everyone who has been retweeting our episodes or just tweeting about us on Twitter. The Ace Podcast Network, Beardy5 Podcast, Paladin Today, Cosplay Fiend, Cosplay Devotee, Neil Butler, and Vander Turner. Thank you. And on Tumblr, thank you to Sid Rabbit Vlog and By Fortune Fire for reblogging the Altair and Oberyn match. And thank you to Sharon Holden for sharing that match as well on Facebook.
She's pretty great.
Yeah, she is.
I'm a big fan.
Just keep her.
Aww.
She's also our occasional secret editor.
Yes.
I feel like we
It's-
we should sneak her into the thanks.
It's getting really close to the point where I'm going to have to insist that we include her in the credits.
We have 2 new iTunes reviews. These were actually left a few weeks ago, but we had kind of a weird recording schedule this week, so this is the first opportunity that we've had to get to them, so I apologize to the 2 people who left these. It was a weird month. So the first one comes from a user whose name I'm going to stab at is pronounced Aderps.
I don't.
Maybe Aderps? I don't know.
I don't.
Aderps. It is titled Smash Hit. That's 5 stars. And it goes, I found this podcast at the beginning of December. It almost immediately became my number one podcast. I was caught up with all 60-some episodes before the new year. I always learn something,
shit.
even if it's knowledge most of society deems unnecessary, and I always have fun. This is an extraordinary league of friends that I hope gets to continue making great content for years to come. And then
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, the second review comes from Scarecrow, spelled Skairkro. Their review is titled Doom! and gives us 5 stars.
God.
And says, hands down, my favorite podcast. When I first started listening, I was afraid it was going to go down that road of typical nerd talk. Who would win in a fight? These conversations bore me because they're pointless since they can't be resolved, it's all opinion. That is not the case with Smash Fiction. The highly intelligent and creative hosts put these fictional characters into a specific situation, usually fictional setting unfamiliar to the contestants, in which they discuss how their contestant is better able to resolve the contest, in which they cite specific sources to back up their claims. Then, they turn it on its ear with the lightning round, in which they put the contestants in a completely different situation or challenge that often borders on the ridiculous, but nonetheless entertaining. The secret ingredient to this, the thing that keeps me coming back and wanting more, is that they are very relatable. Listening to them is like listening to my best friends my whole life. The nerd-splaining, the weirdness, the mocking, the BSing, the yelling. Also, they have an intermittent tabletop RPG session that likewise mashes different pop culture properties together that fills me with immense jealousy that I can't be part of because it's so fun to listen to. Strap in, listeners, you're in for a wild ride.
Oh, that was a really thorough review.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Guys,
Thanks to both of
my
them.
heart grew 3 sizes.
Oh my gosh. Like, the reviews help us so much.
Yeah. And
Thank
they,
you, guys.
they fill our cockles with joy.
And they fill our iTunes ness. They really make us go up there.
Yep. They sure do.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Smash Fiction. We hope you enjoyed it. Next week brings the 14th episode of Extraordinary League. The week after that, the Tomb of Horrors welcomes Baldur's Gate versus Dragon Age.
Smash Fiction is produced by Miles Schneiderman, with logo design by Colin Mulcairn.
Special thanks to Kevin MacLeod for our theme song, which is called Hitman. You can find his work at www.incompetech.com.
You can follow the Smash Fiction podcast on Twitter at SmashFicPodcast and search for us on Facebook and Tumblr.
Subscribe on iTunes, and if you leave us a good review, we shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
If you have any suggestions, feedback, or other contributions, send them to us at smashfictionpodcast@gmail.com and help us continue the fight.
Oh man, can you list those again? I feel like I must have missed one.
Absolutely.
Dan was drawing
Okay.
hearts at me.
So,
Aww.
that's so gross.
Lies.
That's right, he hates me.
Neil would just draw butts at me. Although that would be pretty romantic too.
Dan never draws butts at me!
It was supposed to be a butt. I'm just really bad at drawing.
Kids just going, why are his butts so pointy? What's the craziest scape? Or, no, that's not the word. That's not any word. Scape is a different word. It's a word.